Hello, everyone. This is Mark Edward Blanton, and then, of course, I have,
Dr. Latasha Blanton.
and we really appreciate you guys coming to the channel today. We got a young man that's going to be here shortly. He's gonna bring him in. He's in the back room, getting ready, for his time here on the channel. He has a great story that he wants to tell us, and of course, we're willing to listen to it because it's going to be an amazing story about his time here. Now, what did he went to? He came to Joburg.
Yes.
And then what else?
He went to Joburg, Durban, and Cape Town, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So it's going to be really good. And of course, we're broadcasting live from South Africa.
We would say sunny South Africa, but it is nighttime.
Yeah,
so.
it's night.
It was sunny earlier today, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, you guys can always comment. We'll try to read as many comments as possible. We will put it on the screen itself, and then other people can see it as well. So that's kind of like the rules of engagement here. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be light. Of course, we want everybody to have an opportunity to put their content or their questions out there. So it's going to be a really, really, really good time. So I hope you guys truly enjoy what we're doing here at the Real South Africa. However, in the meanwhile, have y'all seen Cape Town? Do you think they've seen Cape Town?
Of course they've seen Cape Town, but it doesn't matter. Let's show them again.
Okay, check this out because this is from one of our sponsors, who is us. We are our own sponsors. We do our own thing. Check it out. All right, what did you think? Cape Town's amazing. Cape Town's amazing. I know you really want to go to Cape Town. Cool. Now, what else has been happening, Tasha?
Let's see. Last week we were still beaming from our birthday month, but that sadly ended on Friday. And we ended our birthday month with spa treatments because that's the best way to relax after a eventful birthday month.
Of course.
And then on Saturday we started July off with the bang, which meant that it was time to go hiking.
Yeah, that was interesting. I just want to say, if somebody said greetings from Brooklyn, New York.
What up,
Brooklyn? No, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, we went on a pretty good hike last weekend. Well, first of all, last week we did a live, and obviously we generally don't do that many lives, but for some odd reason we've done a few lives. And the reason why we're doing a lot of lives, because let me put it to you like this. Okay. And the gentleman, he's in the back. He's ready to get it in, but it's going to be a little while because we gotta do
housekeeping,
do a little bit here and there. Let me see. What was I going to say?
I have no idea.
But no, we bring a lot of. Obviously, you guys know we have a YouTube channel. Okay, we have Facebook and
Twitter,
Instagram, all that great and wonderful stuff. But primarily what we do, we don't go around getting content and finding things and trying to, put it on our channel just so we can, bring you guys some entertainment. What we try to do is do our tourism piece. So we are the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism. And basically what that has been meaning is that there's been a lot of people like yourself who have reached out through our website, and I put all the information up as we go through. But a lot of people have contacted us, to what's the word I want to say? To come to South Africa for the very first time. Now, a lot of people have experienced their trip here to South Africa for the very first time through our efforts. Would you say?
Yeah, and I think that through our efforts and what they're able to see, they get to experience a side of South Africa that we think they deserve,
Yeah.
that we know they deserve. Because sometimes when you go on vacation, you really don't get a chance to relax. But the way we put things together, we always tell you just after you get your flight, we'll do the rest of it, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much what we do. And the guy we're gonna have on is definitely very involved in what we do here, and he's a huge supporter, and we're grateful for him. And when you do hear his story, you'll understand that he was here before.
Hmm.
He was very active on the live last week, lots of comments, understood that what we do here actually matters. And
Yeah.
when you hear his story, which you'll probably hear again, we are going to hear about his time in Cape Town and Durban.
Hmm.
We did get a chance to talk to him when he was actually here, and you guys heard a little bit about his story and just him experiencing Johannesburg for the first time. If we get the opportunity, he will tell you about that as well. But the whole point of what we do is to let people understand what it means to be a tourist,
Yeah.
and to be
And
a
what it
tour
means.
what
Yeah.
and what it means to be a tourist. And that's not all, just hopping all of the major points and all the sightseeing things. There's other ways to be a tourist versus just hopping all the sightseeing things. So we show them the full spectrum of tourism,
Hmm.
and there's a direct definition to tourism, and it's not just quote unquote travel. You do have to travel to get here, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the tourism piece
Yeah.
is being able to get out there, experience the locals, see some of the historical facts, and then ultimately immerse yourself in the places you're visiting. So you actually get to eat the food, you actually get to talk to the local people, you actually get to experience a totally different lifestyle. And that's the whole point of why we do things the way that we do things.
Yeah, I think it's funny because some of the people that are going to actually meet us today. It's their first time, seeing us, and then there are many people who met us 6 months ago, maybe even a year or two ago, maybe even 3 years ago. But I will tell you this: we have a long history here in the Republic of South Africa. I remember when we first came here, we were super excited about everything, and we're still super excited about
Every day we're
pretty much,
excited.
yeah. But we were super excited. We went to different places. We was just all over the country. 2010 passed, 2011 passed, 2012 passed. So as you're starting to see that we have a lot of experience, which the only way you can get experience is just have experience here in the country. So we've gathered enough experience over the years, and then we connected that with our, hey, we're African Americans. This is what moves us in this travel space. So we just decided to say, okay, we want Americans to actually, not just Americans, but those in the diaspora to come and have this experience. And that's what we decided because we're business people at heart. If you would have met us in a different light, she'll be wearing a different hat. I'm wearing a different hat.
I was wearing multiple hats. He was actually wearing multiple hats. But we won't get into that. We definitely have been pushing the entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
self-employed things since, we were talking about it the other day, not to change the subject, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
on
okay.
my mind. We were talking about it the other day, about the fact that I've been working for myself since I was just before I turned 30. So as we all know, I hit the big 4-5 the other day. So I have been working for myself, for the last 15, 16 years. So
Mhm.
that is huge for me because I don't take that for granted.
Yeah.
I don't take that for granted that I've been self-employed since before I turned 30. So
Yeah.
that's a lot to be grateful for. And then to be living here in South Africa, living our actual dream,
Yeah.
being able to experience life the way that we, dreamed and planned. And now we get to dream bigger and be able to do more things for the diaspora, do more things for ourselves, share more things with you when it comes to tourism.
Yeah.
So it's a huge milestone for us.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm looking at one of the comments on the screen. It says, "Greeting, family. I just thought of a place to explore: Drakensberg in fall and autumn and winter. Champagne, was that Champagne Resort? up in the mountains and great hiking.
Yes, I'm all about that. That sounds amazing.
We do hike. We have been, it's funny. People send us, stuff all the time. Say, hey, you need to go here. You need to go there. Let me tell you something. We don't have our camera everywhere, and if we do, we're more interested sometimes in just being in that space and not just pulling out our camera. I don't want to be walking around constantly with a camera. But most of the places that are worthy of going to in the Republic of South Africa, we've been. Now, and I will also say that since we've been here, I think we've showed a lot of grace to our host country, because they were kind enough to let us immigrate here properly. Mm-hmm. They were kind enough to we met so many good people and whatnot. So we've had nothing but over the 5+ years living here, to include all those other years visiting back and forth. We've been pretty fortunate, but I think it comes with what we bring as well.
You have to come. Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing South Africans do, and I know a lot of people hate the overuse of this word, but they meet you where you are. So if you come with some grace, some humility, come and just understand that you have a lot to learn, and not try to impose your colonizers' arrogance, because that's really what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. You don't mean to have it. It's just that's where you were raised. But if you take all of that off and actually be open to what it is they have to say and what they have to teach you, it opens up so many doors for you, and it allows you to actually live so much more freer than you could ever imagine.
Exactly. So again, just like this young gentleman right here, I can't see the picture, but I think it's a young gentleman. He said, respect and appreciate for the cultures.
100%.
And that's us. And that's what we do.
100%.
And we really, you guys don't even realize how much time we spend behind a windshield driving around this country and stopping in some of these little places that all they have, and I'm going to say it in the kindest way, all they have is a chicken licking. I'm
chicken stopping. Licking is absolutely really good chicken. Yeah. Well, it is to me. I love chicken.
Yeah. And then of course we have somebody here, Tisha White Crowder.
Hey, Tisha. Thank you so much. I miss you.
Yeah.
Hugs and kisses.
Yeah, she's from where we used to live, and we're still great friends, and
she's visited.
And she's actually came to South Africa, and she's experienced it. The way that that we do things here in the Republic of South Africa. So let me see, do we have any questions? So if you have any questions, make sure that you leave them in a comment, because we want you to understand that we do YouTube, we do our social media outreach, but we are truly a travel and tourism company. We spend more time doing that than we do putting together content. And there's some people say, oh, your sound isn't right. I'm like, okay, yeah, because I'm actually out. We got people that are flying in the country that are landing at the airport, or we got people that are leaving Joburg on their way to Cape Town. We got people in Cape Town on their way to Durban. And then we got people flying back to Joburg on the way back to America. And they're so sad.
They're really sad.
They are so sad and whatnot. So, but yeah, we really appreciate everyone. And we really appreciate the fact that all these people who you guys have not seen, and like I said, we wish we could show everyone that comes here. We just can't, unfortunately, because people are just doing their thing. And then lastly, a lot of these people, a lot of our travelers are on their trip of their lifetime. They're like, this is the trip I've been wanting to go on, and I don't want no hangups, no issues. And then of course, they pick the right one, because that's what we do. We make sure everything goes well, and then they do their spa treatment on the way out, and they're like, man, this is great. This is great. So I'm
just laughing at the comment. Yes, good evening to all. To all of them. Yeah.
And lastly, here you go, right here. I like this comment here. Somebody says, hey family, Emma says, great seeing you. Something about St. Francis. St. Francis is Dubai in Eastern Cape. Talk about it, Tasha.
Listen,
because we've been there.
Listen, I can't even say it. Cape St. Francis. Let's just say our time there was not long enough.
Yeah.
I definitely have been planning to go back. Well, we've been planning to go back. If I have to go by myself, I will. It's that beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. It is absolutely gorgeous. And
Yeah.
we will definitely be out there. Hey, Verlisa.
Yeah, she actually came on the real estate tour, and I think she's hanging around.
Are you
somewhere.
floating around?
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, you know, for those who have never eaten chicken licken, you know, just think about I don't know, what's that place we got in the States?
Well, they've got KFC.
Well, KFC doesn't compare.
What do you compare chicken licken to in the States?
I mean, people like what's that place called?
What place?
The Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, well, that's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah,
they're not even open on Sundays.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I'm glad everybody's coming in and everybody's seeing all the comments that people are giving and whatnot. So, and then of course, you know, I'm gonna say a couple of things. South Africa is what you make it. First of all,
yeah.
You know, if you come here with the right intentions, with your mind, you know, open and understanding that you're not leaving America, coming to America, you can do well. You could be a happy
100%.
camper here in South Africa, because we know because we get contacted a lot about the African American or the African diaspora movement to Africa. We get it, you know, we did it. Now it's funny that now we see so much more on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
So much more content. So
positive
much
content.
Yeah, just so much content, you know, good and bad, about just the videos in Africa. I was glad that the Wodemeyer just decided to come down to South Africa, come meet up with us and do a video, which is good. We really appreciate it, because he's a real good ambassador for Africa in general. And matter of fact, I got to put this little comment by Q Thomas. Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So he's a true fan, that guy right there. But you know, so we understand people want to just, you know, pick up and move, but there is a process. Every country is different. They're all not the same. So you really need to, you know, try to understand that process before you try to move over. And I'm standing at the gate saying that you need to come on a visit. Yes. You need to come on a visit. There are tons of people that contact us that say, "Hey, I just want to move there," and I say, "No, you need to come on a visit." "No, I just want to move. I saw enough of your videos. I just want to move." And then I'm still going to say the same thing, because everyone that's been successful coming, you know, that's moved to Africa. I'm going to say Africa, but especially South Africa, because a lot of the times we had our hand in there guiding them. They're doing very well, and they're quiet, and you don't even hear from them. They all don't start a YouTube channel. They don't do any of that. You know what I'm saying? They just come. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Listen to that. Hey, Nikki, we missed you too.
Yeah.
Hugs and kisses.
Yeah, I think all our people from back in Virginia are showing up.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Definitely come on the real estate tour. I know that you've had lots of memories that you made when you came with your little guy, who's not a little guy, to visit South Africa. But definitely, you know, when you're ready to come back on a visit, we will absolutely assist. And you know that we will do whatever we can to make sure that when it's time to transition, that you transition properly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but there's a lot going on. So then once you get into the door and you're here and you're kind of used to the culture, you're used to being here, then you can start getting into what schools are available, you know, just all the stuff. It's kind of hard to explain an entire country, you know, because this is an entire country in just a few videos and whatnot. It really comes down to the visit. And then what happens is people come on a visit and then they're like, "Oh my God, now I see what you were saying." And I'm like, I couldn't have made 1,000 videos, you know, for you to understand it. So that's why we just focus on the tourism spot. We want you guys to come as a tourist. We want you to come and everything is in order, because it'll be difficult for you to see what you need if you're constantly trying to figure out
what it is to do.
Yeah, or will my ride show up, or am I going to be able to do this? Or you come on a day when something's closed, and
Yeah.
all these different things. We kind of take care of all that for you. I can't explain it
Sorry.
anymore. Oh, who's this?
Rosalind? No. Yes. Well, yeah.
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 See, so again, and then of course the last thing is we always are talking about the real estate tour, because that's kind of like a gateway. I mean, for those that come, I mean, we had a few people that just on the screen that has been here. It's a gateway into South Africa. I think we had Ronnie Dunn when he came through.
He came, and
several people.
He lives here now. He followed the process that that is proper to make sure that he gets here. He has the right paperwork. He has the proper visa. He's got the place rented. Then you take all of that into consideration. Now he's going to go down the next steps to make sure that he is solid in his time here in South Africa. So, the guy that we're going to have on now has already committed to coming on the real estate tour, because once you visit South Africa, understand that we are not in any way saying that you have to move here. That is not what we do. Again, we do travel and tourism. Yeah. Now, the whole point of that tourism is to understand that once you've had a proper visit, if you decide, that is based on your experience and what you see for your future and the options that you have now been exposed to. So with that being said, know again that if you decide to move to South Africa, that is completely a decision that you make on your own. Our job is to make sure that you get exposed to it properly. And then from there, you look at what options you have as a diasporan,
So a lot of this content is on our YouTube channel. So a lot of you guys are watching from different platforms, but you can always go to our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, put in The Real South Africa. We'll pop up, and then you'll start seeing like the testimonials from people who came before. And it's so hilarious. You guys don't see, maybe we need to do some bloopers or something, because a lot of these people were not trying to come to South Africa. They had a little curiosity because they saw our videos. They just wanted to see if it was true. And then they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna reach out to them. And then they did.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay. And then we're like, hey, I guess they want us to give them, empirical evidence or something.
Yeah, which is impossible.
The
empirical evidence is the actual visit. You know what I mean? If there's one thing we know for sure, I can tell you how something is, but until you actually feel South Africa for yourself, it doesn't matter what I say. What I say is also facts and also truth. And a lot of those things are true for us, but you've seen comment after comment, video after video, impression after impression, where people are expressing the sentiments in the best way they can. The English becomes limited because what you actually feel, you don't even have the words for it sometimes.
They need to be speaking Zulu.
They were speaking
Zulu, they won't have no problem. I don't speak Zulu.
No.
But I don't try to express myself to that level. You know what I'm saying? But everything is cool. Like I said, we appreciate everyone who's coming, because we got a lot of people booked that's coming for their first time. And I'm super excited for them, because you people in South Africa don't realize that there are people in America that want to come, but they are afraid in some ways. Mm-hmm. They have some apprehension, and I'm being kind. But we overcome that. We overcome it, and we get these people on ground. And then these people are going to be telling other people. Yeah. And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and they be like, man, Soweto's cool.
Yeah, Soweto's.
It's everything.
We don't visit enough, but definitely.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, or you got something you want to say to the group, we'll just go ahead and we will go ahead and put it on the screen. But before we bring in,
I'm saving it.
Before we bring in the brother who's Lazarus, who you guys have been waiting on. I know you guys have just been, I'm old enough. I'm an LL Cool J fan. He used to say, I've been waiting and debating for all so long.
Oh my God.
Just starving like Marvin for a Cool J song. I'm not even going to get into the Oreo cookies or crushed buildings or anything like that. I'm just going to let it be.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And some of you guys are just way too young. Y'all guys don't understand what hip hop actually is. Because even though we just saw Buster, he got his lifetime achievement. And if anybody deserves it, Buster deserves it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and also, and just segueing.
Oh
real
my
quick,
gosh, hurry up
we
with
saw,
the segue.
we saw. We was watching a little thing on YouTube, and it was they had Juvenile.
Oh, it was
Juvie.
it was the Tiny Desk concert from
Yeah.
NPR. You have to go and see it. This again is a super side note, but if you're a Juvenile fan and you grew up in the late 90s, 2000s and graduated around that time like I did, then you're definitely a Juvenile fan.
You're so old. You're so old. So let's go ahead and segue, because like I said, we do our own sponsorship. We sponsor ourselves. We don't really need anybody to sponsor us. So we're going to put this out, and when we come back, we're going to bring on Lazarus. Let's get it. I'm trying to get it, y'all. It won't. All right. Who's up here reading your comments? Guess who we got? There go Lazarus, y'all.
Lazarus! Round of applause, round of applause. So good to see your
Lazarus,
face.
what's up?
What's going on, y'all?
Listen, we have been just as excited as you are to talk to you for a number of reasons. You have been so wide open since you left, and you've only been gone like what, 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, a couple of weeks. That's it.
That's it. How you been?
You know what? It's hot. It's hot. So I'm in Texas. So the heat is
right,
real.
that's right.
Yeah, I'm in Dallas, Texas. So
You surviving?
I'm surviving. You know, staying in as much as possible. But yeah, I didn't make it long before thinking about my next trip. So
I see that.
Yeah.
I give you props for making it 2.5 weeks before deciding to come with us again in November. So we will see you again very, very soon.
yeah, you know, I tried to talk myself out of it. I was like, yeah, that's too soon. Then I was like, after watching Chris Mason's video, I said, yeah, I'm going. That's it. I couldn't resist. I said, that's it. I'm going. No, it's going to be good to learn, because right now I have more questions than answers. So I was like, you know what? Instead of I've been doing online research. I said, you know what? Let me just take a step back. I can have a good time and still learn as well. So, you know, online research is good. I have a couple of, things that I'm tracking, but I really want to go and learn, like you said, the subject matter experts, really learn about the buying process. Because, right now I'm just thinking more of a holiday home that I can kind of go back and forth, or maybe an apartment. I don't know, but definitely want to own something there. So I don't know what that's going to be. I just really want to learn more.
Well, the good thing about the real estate tour is the way we have it set up, with all of the experts giving you basically a little mini conference and education session about everything works. And then when the agents come in and talk to you, all of the estates that we pick have every type of thing you can think of. So they have standalone homes, townhouses, condos, if you want to say, apartments, and different options for you. So you'll be able to see the estates and which one you like better and what type of property you want to purchase. So it really is a well thought out, comprehensive experience that we put together for people such as yourself, because it's difficult to even take a day to look at properties because it takes days. And that's why we put it together the way that we did.
Yeah, I think I made it back on the 15th, and I booked the next trip on the 28th. So that my friends, I have a problem. They said, "Man, you have a problem." I said, I love what you guys said, because I've shown them the pictures. I've told them about it, but the disconnect, I figured out what my disconnect is when we talk about feeling. you can't articulate that feeling. I was like, I can show you the pictures, I can tell you about it, but it's just something about how you feel, and it almost feels silly because it was like, man, they were telling me to be afraid of this, and here I am, I'm loving it. So I tell them, hey man, I can do my best, tell you about it, but until you go, I don't think I can do anything to truly, communicate or articulate how it made me feel. So I was loving it. You guys saw me, I was all over the place. So
yes, you actually were. You actually were.
So let me ask you this. So now you calmly and collectively said, oh yeah, I was looking at an apartment over there. It's just something that I have over there that I can just visit. Now, before you came here, could you have said that? Or were you thinking that?
Oh, no. I was about to slip up. Tasha, baby, I'm about to fire off again. My aunt is on the call, so I gotta watch my language. My aunt is on the line.
We're gonna watch our language too. We're gonna
Tasha, bring it out of it. I almost said that. No. So absolutely not. I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even plan on coming. I was just at the Travel Expo in Dallas in 2019. I went there to learn about offers to Hawaii and the Caribbean. Then I saw 2 South African tables. They were both white South Africans, but they were extremely nice. And I asked them, the first thing I asked them, I was like, man, but what about the racism? What about apartheid? And to their credit, neither one ran from the question. They talked about it and they kept in touch with me. One kept in touch with me more. And that's when I traveled to South. I said, you know what? Let me just go. The price was amazing. I couldn't believe the price. Plane ticket was more, but the actual package was great price. And then when I went to South Africa the first time, it was a great vacation. Came home. I don't even think I was home 2 weeks, and I found your channel. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't see that part of South Africa though. So to answer your question, no, I never even considered. It was just, it's like, I knew I wanted to go to Africa. I thought I was going to go to Ghana first, but some people from South Africa, and they were just like, why not give it a try? And it's been ever since. So I've been twice. Go back again later this year, so it'll be 3 times within a year, I think. I don't know. Yeah.
So what was it about our videos that made you decide so quickly that you needed to see this particular part of South Africa?
It was beyond the safari and beyond just the tourist areas. And I love how you highlight, whether it's the partnership with Tawani, whether, just highlighting other, the people. And I was like, wait a minute. I met some amazing South Africans. My first South African friend, I met a brother named James. We still keep in touch via WhatsApp. But it was just, I was like, wait a minute, people actually live there? Okay, let me start watching. Then you are watching the houses, and then the way you would set up other people. Obviously, I'm from the States, but people, no matter if you came from the UK, Caribbean, Canada, wherever, but the way they were communicating their feelings, I was like, wait, I had a great vacation, but I didn't feel like that. I want to feel what they felt. They were talking about living there. I just thought it was a cool vacation. I didn't. What is this feeling of living there? So that's when I reached out to you. I said, let me go with them, since I know you truly understand, what we go through on this side. We don't have to get into that, So and you guys squared me away. So
talk about that a little bit.
Oh man, I landed and it was seamless. I landed, guy was at the airport with the sign waiting on me. Driving from the airport, I got to experience load shedding right out of the airport because all of the stoplights were out. And he's like, yeah, we're going through load shedding right now. But he was explaining to me, like, some of the homes don't have lights, but all of the businesses had lights. He's like, you don't have to worry. By the time you get to the hotel, your hotel's squared away. But as soon as I got to the hotel, they like, hey, welcome home. It's like, they know I'm a tourist, but they still like, welcome home, brother. I got to meet a brother named Lazarus. So it's Lazarus. My favorite person at the Da Vinci was Mr. Isaac. You guys got to meet Mr. Isaac?
He did.
Yeah. Mr. Isaac took care of me. He took care of me from the first day till I checked out. He was the one checked on me every day.
No, and I remember when we were having our first video, he came over and checked anything. He was like, hey, because he was supposed to be off, remember?
That's right. Like, he was supposed to be off. That's right. Yeah.
He even did a man's schedule. Like, what's up with that?
So he took care of me. So, I mean, everybody, they were making sure. I got lost a few times. You know, they pointed me in the right direction. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
It was cool. I had a great time. The Da Vinci was beautiful. You know, got the walk. It was connected to the mall, so I can do my banking. I can go to the grocery store. I could do everything just right within 5-10 minute walk. So.
And how are the accommodations at the Da Vinci?
Oh, you know, it was nice. I was living it up. I mean, all of it. I stayed at the Da Vinci in Joburg, the Commodore in Cape Town, and the Capitol Pearls, which was an apartment in Durban. So, no, you took care of me. You took care of me.
Yeah, we took care.
Good. So you went to Cape Town middle or last? Well, I can't remember.
Yeah, I went to Cape Town in the middle.
Okay, so talk about your time in Cape Town, because you had been to Cape Town before. Am I correct?
Yes, I've been to Cape Town before. So we had a couple of days of Tawani said it was like the second or maybe first or second coldest day they've had on record in a while. So I didn't have perfect weather, but it didn't stop the plans because you took care of me on my actual birthday, which was Thursday, June the 8th. So we did a wine tour, and Tawani introduced me to, I think it was Hari Kitchen, so a Black head chef. Then we went to another vineyard. The head winemaker was Black. Then we went to another vineyard. The owner was Black, and the head winemaker and the farm manager was Black. So Tawani she gave us the VIP treatment. I mean, we got all kind of tours. Tastings were amazing. The food was amazing. So it
was well worth it.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. The only thing we didn't get to do was enjoy that beautiful patio, because the vineyards have beautiful patios.
Yes.
That's the only thing we didn't get to enjoy because it was raining and cold. But once we got on the inside, I mean, you know, a little rain don't hurt anybody, but they took care of us. The food and wine was amazing. Then I went back to the Commodore for a couple of hours, got me a quick nap. Then I had Seba that night, which is it was the best dining experience I've ever had in my life. So,
I mean, now you've been living a long time. You ate a lot of McDonald's and.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't exactly compare that to Seba and McDonald's. You know what I love the most? Even at Bungalow, everywhere they didn't rush you. They wasn't trying to turn over the table. You know, and he was like, "Hey man, take your time." I was like, "Well, actually, my ride's outside. I have to leave now." But I was at Seba, I think 3 hours. You know,
that's normal for Seba.
Right. That's about right.
That's normal.
It was beautiful. I met some other people who shared the same birthday. We ended up getting together, taking some pictures together.
There you go. That June 8th is a popular day, I see.
Oh, it was lovely. I love the smaller portions. So you may have 5 or 6 courses, but they're smaller portions, and they just talk you through each portion. You know, if you enjoy, you know, some tasty beverages, you may get some sparkling wine, you know, a little wine, dessert wine, you know, whatever. I'm not even big on desserts. I think I ate every dessert they put in front of me. It was so good. But that was beautiful. Bungalow, I can't wait to go back because they closed for renovations. And it was so funny. It had a big guy. He was like a bouncer. I don't know, but he was like, I had a beautiful meal. And it's so beautiful on the patio when I was leaving. The brother apologized. He said, "I'm sorry, man. We wasn't that crowded tonight." I was like, "Brother, I had a great meal and a great view. I don't know what you're apologizing for." But he's like, "Please give us another chance." I was like, "Don't worry. I'm coming back." So I can't wait to go back and see the renovations they made. And he said in the summer, because November is considered summer, right? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If I can make it to Cape Town. But he said you get the longer days. You get to enjoy the sun longer on it. Because it's absolutely beautiful down at the Bungalow.
Yeah, especially where it's situated is right there on the water. It's right there on the water.
That's
right on the water.
Yeah, and the sun is, and you just, I mean, it could be 8 o'clock at night and it's still bright out.
That's what he said.
8:30, 9 o'clock, it starts. You know, it starts, and then you just be like, "Man, look at me." You start doing a introspective. Man, look at me.
I did. I just sit there. That's me. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm chilling on the patio in Cape Town, South Africa, or if I was in Joburg, or the apartment you set me up with in Durban, I had a beach facing patio, so I could sit on the patio and just enjoy myself and just listen to the waves. And that apartment was nice too. So
Good. I think you know, when you were telling me it was going to be your birthday, I'm like, you've got to have the most personal experience for your birthday because you were traveling by yourself. But you've traveled by yourself before when you came here.
Absolutely.
And what was the difference between traveling with a group and traveling by yourself? I mean, I know what the obvious difference is, but as far as like the experience itself.
You know, the funny thing, so I traveled with the group, and I was the only Black person in that group when I traveled with the last company. So, but it didn't make a difference because the Black South Africans saw that and they would take care of me. They were giving me special treatment, so it was good. But this time, so that it worked out to my favor, honestly. But this time, it was literally like I had a personal guide everywhere. Your drivers are amazing. Shout out to Mr. Jameson, my favorite driver, super chill. And that's who I got to spend the most time with because he took me to Planetsburg. So I was in the car with him the longest that day. So, but Mr. Jameson, and shout out to Mr. Gavin in Cape Town. Mr. Gavin, he's legit. So, but it just really, I mean, the reason. So, a perfect example of that in Cape Town, Table Mountain, you could go up that day, but I was like, I've been up before and it's completely covered in clouds. I was like, I don't really want to go today, so let's call an audible. And so we went up to Signal Hill. Signal Hill one day, and it started to clear a bit. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna come back. If the weather's nice, I'm gonna come back and see if I can do paraglide. It wasn't clear enough that day, but Signal Hill is beautiful. So next time I'm in Cape Town, I want a day of leisure. I see people just going up there, maybe having a picnic, watching the sunset. So there's so many things you can do that are free or very, very inexpensive. So I mean, you could do the nice dinners, or you could just go to the park, sit at the beach. Signal Hill is beautiful up top. So that's what, long answer. Having that personal tour, they were able to just switch it. It's like, you know what? Because it's Cape Point, there were like 5 big giant tour buses. So Nathan was the guy that day. He said, we're going to go in reverse. So we'll go to the where their first stop is. We're gonna make that our last stop. We'll just switch the order of our tour, and we were able to beat the big giant tour buses at every point. So it just took care of me.
But for us, the funny part about it is, we're here so we can. Well, there's a couple things. We know that you're going. I mean, most people, trust me, we take the phone calls. We take a lot of phone calls. We make a lot of phone calls. There are people that's like, I want to have every second of the day booked out. And we're like, no, you're not going to do that. I'm very like, no, you're not going to do that. This is what you're going to do. And they're like, no. And then they feel like, oh, well, you're making it hard on me because I want to have every second of the day booked. And
you don't want that nap, ain't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they get here, and then they started following on this schedule, and they're like, "This is perfect. Yeah, I got a little bit of free time to go look at some stuff, but I'm sorted because I got a little transportation to go see stuff. Everything is scheduled. Like they know how long it's going to take. Everything is scheduled for them, and then at the end, they're like, you know what? I'm so glad that I had some free time with especially those that come with their spouses. Like, oh, we can just do our little thing and still do all this the scheduled stuff, which they know they need to do. So it just works out because we're not on the internet trying to find you some events and how to do it. We know that on certain days, certain things are closed. Certain days, this is the best. We just know because we're here every day, and now we've been doing this for over 4 years. So we kind of got a strong idea of what's happening and whatnot, even though there are those that are like, hey, I went online and I saw this. Okay.
I want to do that. I'm like, you really don't want to do that.
But as you see, obviously you didn't have that problem, but there are those that do. But you see how we sorted you out.
No, you want that day. Matter of fact, when I come back, I want a few more days of leisure because you have to. It just really. I was just walking around Cape Town one day, and I was just like, man. When I look at it from this vantage point, I'm looking at the mountain and the ocean. If I'm looking at it from this vantage point, I'm seeing these beautiful neighborhoods. I mean, you just want to stop and pause. And the way you guys set me up in Cape Town, I could walk right across the street to the VA waterfront or the watershed when you go buy some art, go eat, go listen to the free performances. You know, I got to walk around the Silo District. I heard about the Silo District. I tried to go to the rooftop bar at the Silo Hotel, but the brother was like, "Hey man, it's rented out tonight for a private event." But he gave me his card. He's like, "Hey, if you're in town tomorrow, call me. I'll get you up there." But I was leaving. Yeah. So I mean, they're just willing to just take care of you. Like, man, it's, you know, I'll get you up there. I didn't get to go over to Utopia, but it was just like, he's like, "Man, come back tomorrow. Give me a call. I'll get you up. I'm gonna be out of town." He's like, "Okay, next time you come, just let me know. You want to see the rooftop? I'll get you. I'll take care of you." You want to just have that time to walk around, because there's so many moments of, you may want to reflect. You may just kick back and relax, man, and just slow down, because South Africa really will allow you to slow down.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's hard for me to slow down. South Africa really, you know, you could just slow down, just, you know, just sit like at Mandela Square. I could just sit out there and just do nothing and feel good. At the VA waterfront, I could just sit out there and do nothing. Same as in Durban at the beach. You know, was that Wells Pier, right? Just sit on the pier right there, Wellbones Pier. You just sit there and just chill out. Y'all, I bought a kite. I'm a grown man, and it was a brother flying a kite on the beach at Durban. He looked so relaxed. I said, I'm a big old kid. I was like, "Man, you just look so relaxed. I'm gonna buy me a kite." You know, it's been too hot to fly, but he was just on the beach flying a kite. He looked so relaxed, running through the sand. I was like, "Man, I need that. I need me a kite. Yeah, let me get a kite." So,
he had on the Speedos and everything.
No, bro. It was just like, he was just on the beach, just living it up, just minding his business. So I saw families out there taking pictures. I saw a group of people doing a religious ceremony in the water. You know, and it's like, I was just sitting out there, just chilling, man. It was so nice.
It's funny when you take all of that in.
Yeah.
As an American, you're like, "Oh, this is what it means to slow down, relax, get all in." And it really puts your life in the U.S. into perspective, because you think that you're relaxing when you have your weekend off, and the truth is, all you're doing is getting ready for Monday.
Yes.
You're not really taking any time to yourself. You're not having time to freely think and contemplate anything, because you're so, I want to use the word stressed. But here you get to take all that up, and you spent almost 2 full weeks here. So, I mean, just having that time to, I like to use the word reset and reconnect. It definitely does something to you, and you want that more often than not, which is why I'm thinking that 13 days after you got back, you're like, "I need that in my life again." I
can feel it. You can actually feel it. I mean, I came back, just I'll walk you through my way home. So I said, I'm a vacation. It's birthday month. I'm a vacation to the very last minute.
There you go.
I milked it. I milked it completely. So I had some miles. So I was able to upgrade my seat with my miles going home. So I got a really nice seat. And with that, I was able to go into the like Delta Club. It's not a Delta Club. They have a partnership with a lounge in South Africa. So I went in there, had me some food, got me a back massage. I'm living it. I'm just living it up. You know, had a wonderful flight. You know, had my own little suite, the Delta One suite. I mean, I'm flat bed. So I'm living it up. I get back to the States, and I'm about to check in, because I flew from Joburg to Atlanta. I'm about to go from Atlanta to Dallas. And I think I text Tasha this and Tawani. Right then, I see an older white guy threatening to call the airport security on the black worker. I was like, I just come from paradise. And it just reminds me, right in the state, and it was a young brother too. And I was just shaking my head. And he was making such a scene in the airport. I was like, man, I don't want to see this mess. You know, I've been in Africa living it up for 2 weeks, and I come back to the States and got that reminder just that quick. I mean, it was like, yep, I'm back. But then I was struggling. So when I got back to Dallas, I was in a funk again. I was like, man, I can't believe this. So I called my Lyft, and thank God it was a sister. I heard the accent, and she was from Zimbabwe. So we started talking. I was like, okay, I feel a little bit better again. Good Lord, help me out. He saw me fade. He saw me fading fast. I was like, man, I get back to the States, and the first thing I see is this older white man threatening to call the airport security on this young brother. just for doing his job. I was like, man, I don't want to deal with this mess. Then I went back to work. I had 562 emails to work through. So I was struggling. That's why I emailed you. Matter of fact, I made it back the 15th. We had our annual Juneteenth celebration on the 17th, so that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I emailed you the 18th. That next day, I said, Tasha, I need to ask you some questions. So I don't think so I didn't officially book until 2 weeks, but I think I was emailing you within 3 or 4 days.
Oh yeah. But it was so funny. You emailed me on a Thursday or Friday, and I don't answer emails on Friday. You got to forgive me. I don't answer emails on Friday. And
you already told me that. You already told me you don't answer emails. You take the weekend off, so I knew you wasn't going to answer. I was like, I'm going to send it anyway. Yeah. So.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I worked through all this. 562 emails and then work drama. I can't believe I'm back at this stuff.
Yeah. And people do it every day and don't take a break. And they do it every day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's rough. So shout out to the sister earlier who said Drakenberg, the resort. I didn't go to the resort, but I did go to the Drakenberg Mountains.
Yes,
we did the Sonic Pass.
Yeah.
So I went from the beach and it was snowing up in Lesotho that day, and I didn't dress appropriately. I was like, oh man, get me back to the beach. But that temperature drop, it's a beautiful, the mountains were endless. And once again, it was just me and the tour guide. So one-on-one. So we were able to take our time, no rush. We stopped at the highest pub in Africa. We didn't linger too long because the snow started to come down. I was like, man, I don't want to get stuck. He's like, no, before we get halfway down, the snow will stop. But just to think, within Africa, you could go from the beach to the snow in one day. Yeah. But she's right. Drakenberg Mountains are absolutely beautiful.
They're beautiful. The other thing too, I think you've mentioned it quite a couple times. So all of our tours are private. So if it's you and your family, then you and your family will have a guide to yourself. And we do that for a number of reasons. We don't want anybody else to impact your experience. We don't want you to have any outside noise. We don't want you to have a bunch of people with different personalities, clashing. So we do that on purpose because we want you to have a private, intimate experience. Because a lot of people go through emotions that they really don't know how to express in words. And if you're getting that emotional, which we say that because we've been through all those emotions. Mm-hmm. We want you to be able to do that without feeling some type of way, and you can do that if you've got a guide that is, empathetic and can say, okay, let you call an audible if it gets to be too heavy at the part-time museum or gets to be too heavy in a lot of the places that you go to, because sometimes it is definitely heavy when you go to these museums and actually see the history and realize the parallels of our struggle and theirs. And it makes you feel things you either suppressed or things that you didn't quite understand when it was happening.
Absolutely. And it was heavy. And we did. So in Johannesburg, obviously, I did the Hector Peterson Museum, Soweto with the Mandela House, Apartheid Museum. And that's a lot. That's a lot, especially, and I think I told you walking through the Apartheid Museum, when you look at it, they have a big display and it shows the civil rights moving on one side and apartheid moving on the other side. And like we said, you could tell there was some communication going on because the things that we went through and that they're going through, it's just like, it's absolutely no coincidence. Absolutely not. And we went to, and in Cape Town, I went to Robins Island. Then after Robins Island, Mr. Gavin was like, you want to go to the District 6 Museum? I said, Gavin, brother, I need a drink. I can't do that. I didn't know. And it's so funny. Not funny, but so much. It's funny because you realize, you think you have an understanding. There's so much you don't know. I didn't know they had a feeding system within Robins Island where the Indians got more food. Then the colors got, second amount. And the black prisoners, they got the least amount of food. And sometimes they didn't even get solid food. Forgot what he called it, but it's like a porridge, just like a mix. So even down to the way, the amount of food they fed the prisoners, it was systematic. So everything was strategic. And that I didn't know that there was never any white prisoners in Robbins Island. It was only Indian, colored, and Black prisoners. So.
Yeah.
And what they told us, which would have been a crime shame, they said at one point, before they turned it into a museum, they were considering tearing it down and just making a high-end resort. I think that would have been a terrible loss if that island would have ended up being a resort and not an actual museum.
Stuff. You know how it works.
Yes.
When they want to undo some stuff.
Never happened. It never happened. So,
you've seen that happen.
I couldn't handle any more heavy history that day. I was like, Mr. Gavin, I can't do it today.
I need a drink.
I need to kind of relax and let it soak in.
No, I understand that.
So I assume that you see what we're doing here in trying to acclimate those in the diaspora to South Africa in a manner like we do, because you need to come on a level like you came in. You know, your vehicles are waiting on you, your places that you were staying. You wasn't concerned. They were extremely nice. The food that you consume, you need to feel that South Africa. And the reason why I say that way, because there are those that come here and they never see that part of South Africa.
Yeah.
They don't even know it's available to them. And if you put it in front of them with their American way they think, they're like, oh, well, I'm not going over there because that's really nice. So I'm not going to go over there. I'm trying to find a little hood spot. There's nothing wrong with hood spots, but you can, if you choose, do it proper, as I like to say.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the drivers. So even let's say if I'm going from, my hotel to Gold or wherever, so the drivers are so qualified, they'll give you a tour, within the itinerary. So they were driving me around town. So even I knew I was going from point A to point B, they were explaining to me everything in between. Like, I think it was Nathan, I got to go, because I mentioned the old biscuit mill. He's like, yeah, that's on the other side of town, but we had some free time. So we just did a driving tour. He showed me Woodstock and a lot of the different neighborhoods within Cape Town. Went to the Boocab. I always mess it up. Boocab, I think. Boocab. Boocab. I drove through that neighborhood. I mean, one day we stopped and just had just a casual lunch. Nando's. We just got some chicken and rice from Nando's,
There you go.
Some chicken and rice. Some real chicken and rice from Nando's. But you just stop and just talk to people. Anytime you get to interact with the people, it just was, I even made a few of them laugh, in Durban. I was trying to, greet them in Zulu in the barbershop. They were clowning on me and they were just cracking on me in the barbershop. I said, it's the same thing we do in the States. We talk smack in the barbershop.
Yeah.
They told me, they said, brother, your tongue is too stiff. I was like, oh, no, okay. But yeah, I got a haircut, just hung out in the barbershop, It was right across from the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And that mall had a beautiful, the grocery stores were beautiful. The Woolworths. It's a beautiful grocery. It's like, this is a grocery.
Crazy, yeah.
Beautiful. So I was just, it's just everything. I mean, you literally have everything at the mall. And Tasha even told me how to even, don't bring cash with you. You don't need to do that. You don't want to pay any high conversion rates at the airport. Come over here, notify your bank. You go to this bank. Don't select this option when you're withdrawing money, so you make sure you're getting the best conversion rate. I mean, I didn't have to worry about anything. I mean, everything was taken care of. So
it was a good birthday.
It was just, I didn't have a care in the world, and I definitely didn't think about work at all.
So this sounded like, I'm just gonna make it just with you, based off what you're saying. It sounded like you had a really good immersion into South Africa, a true immersion, not just because you said before you came on a vacation and you did
Yes.
It was a vacation, but
Great vacation.
You came here because so when we say tour, we want you to tour it.
Yeah.
And some people look at us like, I don't want to be a tourist. I'm like, you need to understand that you need to come as a tourist the way that we do it. So you can have these levels of conversation. So let me talk about like the as you say, the drivers.
Yeah.
Let me explain something to you and the people that are listening. I vet pretty much everything. Everything that happens this is what's going to happen next, as far as like who interact with you and who don't interact with you, right? Here's my thing. I'm really happy that you really appreciate the drivers, because first of all, not YouTube, but a Uber driver wouldn't have done any of those things for you at all. But people come, they pay all that money to come here to sit in an Uber, and they're not going to get anything. They're going to pass by stuff. They'll never know what it was or what happened. So I make it a point to make sure that we have that work with us, all qualified guides. They drive, of course, but they're qualified guides. And I think about 4 or 5 times you referred to your guide as the person who took care of you and showed you along the way. And so that's the beauty of what we do. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, they all have their official badges. You can see they have their official guide badge. I mean, they were all just, I mean, I can ask them questions about anything. And sometimes they say, I can tell you about it, or we could just go. We have time. And I was like, okay, let's go, and that's how I was able to do the paragliding. Because I said, hey, there's something I want to do. He said, we have time. Let's drive up. He said, if there's a spot open, we'll go. And just when I got up there, they were like, hey, a spot just open. I was like, oh, okay, it's meant to be. It's meant to be. So,
he sent him a WhatsApp. Make sure
that's right. That's right. He whatever he did, he took care of me. So, I mean, there's so much, and I'm glad. So obviously, you can tweak the itinerary. I'm glad I didn't tweak it, because I said, whatever Tasha puts together, I'm just gonna roll with it. I've been to Gold before. I've been to Table Mountain before. I said, you know what? Sometimes it's not just a check, one and done, because I had a good time at Gold last year, but this time I don't know what. I think I'm telling Twan and a few others, I don't know what was going on. There were 2 long tables downstairs. I sat upstairs, which I think I like better now, sitting upstairs. But there were 2 long tables full of sisters. I don't know where they were from. But I tell you, the energy they had in Gold, I had a better experience this year than I did last year. It was rocking. So if you're on the call and you were at Gold Wednesday, June the 7th, thank you. They were bringing it. I mean, the drums, the singing, it was absolutely amazing. I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't take Gold off the list. I mean, if you go once a year, I would say give it it is so fun. They do a great job at Gold.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, you are falling in another category as a repeat offender.
I know it.
You're a repeat offender.
I tried to hold out. I said, you know what? I want to come in February. It's a summer, but because everybody's like it's less crowded. I was like, man, I don't know if I can make the February though. I was like, how about this? What if I could go and learn about the real estate and still have fun? So I in my mind, I said, this is not just a vacation. This is a conference / field trip. I justified it to myself.
No wrong with that. Whatever you got to make yourself feel better. Because
then I'm like, maybe I'll wait until the Jazz Fest next year. I said, I can't do it. I'm going back this year.
Yeah, the Jazz Festival, the dates are out too. So, but the Jazz Festival will also be in February. I won't be surprised if you find your way back in February. If you do, it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah,
it's going to be so much fun.
So I know there's a lot of people who haven't been here. They don't understand the fuss. They're trying to compare it to Jamaica, Hawaii, Mexico. Can you put a little light on that? Can you make a comparison?
My family's on. I love Hawaii. I've gone to Hawaii with a group. I've gone to Hawaii by myself. I love the Caribbean. I think it's some of the most beautiful water in the world, beautiful people. But once again, I've never thought about actually, buying property there or moving there. I mean, it's just something about it. Hawaii, like I said, it's beautiful. The mountains and the ocean. You think about the Caribbean, absolutely beautiful. With South Africa, it's funny. It's like I can get all of that within South Africa. I get the mountains, I get the ocean, I get the beautiful people, I get the amazing food. But once again, it goes back to something I can't do a good job of articulating. It's that feeling. Once again, when people tell you, hey, welcome home, they know it's not your home, but they say, hey, man, I want you to feel like home. Welcome home. Yeah. It's just different. I mean, you're a tourist, but for that couple of weeks, you really
Yeah,
feel like you're at home, man. It's like you feel it. I was like, man, so many people have told me welcome home. I actually believe it now. I'm home. So the people, I can't say enough. And throughout the hospitality space, I met some amazing people, and I love that they were honest, because they said, "What are you doing?" I tell them what I'm doing. They're like, "Oh, you're fine." I was like, "Well, in the States, they say about the scary places." They were like, "We have a couple of places, but don't go here, don't go here, don't go here. Everything else, you're fine." Yeah. They're honest though. They were like, "Man, you're fine, man." So, but it's just funny.
You mentioned staying out of the seedy places.
Yeah.
We specifically understand that if you wanted to go to a seedy place, you could choose it on your own. But we always believe that if you really wanted to go to a seedy place, you would go to the one that's closest to your home where you come from. And most people don't make it a habit of running straight to the seedy place where they come from. Most people stay away from those places anyway. So why travel 9,000 miles to go to the most dangerous places of a city? I mean, we lived in the U.S. We lived, close to D.C. and Baltimore and all those areas. And there's no reason for me to go to the city of it for any reason. So it's like, I don't see the point in you flying this far to go someplace to look at, I don't know, seedy places, or to go and some people ask us, they want to go where they see poor people.
Nope.
And I'm like, you don't go where you live to see poor people. Nope. Like, why do you want to see poverty porn? Like, why would you want to do that? And it's not that those places don't exist, but if you're going to go look at them, start where you are first. And then, start where you are first. Go down.
It's so funny because I speak so highly of South Africa, and one person said, "You sound like you're romanticizing it." I said, "Well, it's not my intention. I'm just telling you my experience." Yeah. So I mean, if you feel that way, I don't know. If you just feel that way, but I can show you proof. I mean, I can send pictures and all that, but I can't. I mean, if you don't want to believe how I'm expressing my feelings, then that's on you. Like I said, common sense rules always apply, whether I'm in Dallas, Texas, whether I'm in South Africa. Common sense rules apply. I mean, hey, I had an amazing time. I was like, man, I can't believe I'm leaving. I can't believe I'm leaving. I was just stuck. I was like, and here's the thing, I thought it was just gonna be a checklist where I check off South Africa and then I go to another country and go to another country and just check off the list. I was like, I felt so good. Let me go back and see if that was real. And like that wasn't real. And I went back. I was like, I feel good again. So let me just learn. I want to go to the real estate tour and learn. As they say, maybe I get a holiday apartment.
Yeah,
I can go holiday in South Africa. But
there you go. Not vacation, but holiday.
Yeah, I get the holiday.
It was different.
It was just like I saw one of the comments. You do just slow down. I didn't realize how much I needed to just slow down, mentally and physically. I was joking with Tasha. I brought my workout clothes. I didn't touch them at all. But I thought about it, bro. Yeah, I thought about it. But then that delicious pinotage said, we're not working out today. So,
pinotage.
Yeah. But I walked and you could just walk and just enjoy people. It's just amazing. Like I was like, man, something simple as slowing down, going to Signal Hill, sitting at the park, sitting on the beach at Cape Town, sitting in Mandela Square in Joburg, just sitting doing nothing. I tell people the simple things made me feel just as good as, the quote unquote fancy stuff. So
yeah. Like last weekend, me and Tasha got together with some people that we know. We went on a hike.
I saw that video. I was jealous.
Oh yeah, well, once you see the whole video, it gets crazy.
I was jealous. I was doing hot yoga and ice baths. I did.
It was listen.
You know what video that got me the most?
What?
The safari train.
Yeah, you and I are gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
That was absolutely beautiful.
We're gonna talk about that.
Okay. All right. That was a beautiful video.
Ideas for you.
Okay, that was a beautiful video. Absolutely beautiful. Because I love people, and Mark says it all the time. My friends are like, man, I don't want to go out into the safari, or they will find the most outrageous video, and they were sent. Well, this person got out of their car and got bitten by a lion. I was like, they got out of their car. It's like, what? Why are you sending me this video? They were trying to justify not doing a safari. I was like, I love doing game drive. I love Bush Lodge. It is only second to the water as far as tranquility for me. I love the ocean, but the Bush Lodge it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I can't wait to get back to the Bush Lodge and actually stay overnight this time on the tour, right?
And you got to do it right.
Yeah,
you got to do it right.
That's my honestly, people don't know, but that's my number one thing.
Yeah,
my number one thing.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That's my number two, right behind the ocean, right behind the water. Bush Lodge is right there. So
but I will get off this live and go to a Bush Lodge if I could right now. Well, I can't, but I do a lot of Bush Lodges because I like the 5-star, 4 and 5-star ones. I love a chef. I love a chef coming out explaining to me what he's cooked, and I'm like, I would have never put that together. Oh. And they have some food that I've never eaten before, and then sit there and watch the animals literally while I'm eating, and then stand in some beautiful location, and then plop it in the water, and it's heated, and I'm just looking at the animals. And while I'm doing that, they're saying, what do you want to drink? And I say 2, please, whatever it is. Yes. And they bring me my drink.
Yeah,
whatever.
Oh, it's beautiful. That's what the first place I learned what a sundowner was on the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they would pick a different spot every day just to watch the sunset. Yeah, and it's so beautiful out. You don't think it's just absolutely beautiful. And they would, like you said, take your order, and it's like, and we would do the same thing in the morning. I don't drink coffee, but they would have my tea ready. They would have fresh muffins and croissants, and we would find a spot to watch the sunrise. I was like, sunrise.
And then they take you back to have breakfast again.
That's right. I can have a real breakfast.
Yeah.
Then I can read or relax by the pool, or get a nap. And I never miss a game drive. I do morning and evening game drive. I don't miss these game drives.
Because they're so different. And I always laugh because she was like, I don't want to go on a game drive. And we had tons of people on the Latch Real Estate Tour that was like, I don't want to go, which was fine. Okay, you don't have to go. They're just available if you want to go. And then the people that said they did not want to go went on every single game. They got up in the morning and in the afternoon, because the truth is you never know what you're going to see. That's the cool part. And even if you've seen one elephant and you see a herd of them 2 times a day, it's still like you feel like a little kid.
It's magical. It's absolutely magical. Yeah. And I love what Mark said about the food, because I don't do pork, but every restaurant like Gold, but they were like, oh, don't worry, we're halal. Like Gold's like, we're halal. We don't do that. And everybody's like, you tell them what you don't want. I know we have some people vegetarian, vegan. They were like, okay. I mean, it's easy. Okay, you don't do this, you don't eat this. That's fine. We got you.
Yeah. That's how Chris was. He was like, I'm vegan, vegetarian. They made stuff for him, or he found something on the menu.
Stuff that he didn't even know that was available.
I had something I never had before at Seabud. Yeah. It's almost like they took a halftime. They had a palate cleanser. It's like,
yes.
What is that? It's like,
give you a little palate cleanser.
Yeah. Then I went right back to grubbing right after the palate cleanser. But obviously, Cape Town, I was eating everything. Cape Town, I was consumed with the fish. I had all kind of fish. It was absolutely amazing. So I think in Cape Town, I got fish pretty much all the time. Oh, except for gold. I had springbok.
Yeah, did you?
I had springbok, and I had some rice. I think it was like Kenyan style. So the springbok and the Kenyan rice was my favorite. She was like, dump it on the plate. I was eating it out of the small bowl. She was like, no, dump it. I dumped it on the plate and I went to work, man. So it was good.
You ate a lot of food.
Ate a lot of food. I was ashamed of myself. I ate a lot of food.
But I love the fact that when you sent me pictures, it was like you felt a little bit guilty about it. And then you were like,
I'm on vacation.
It was like, I'm going home in a couple. I'll go back to the gym when I get home.
I'm suffering in the gym these last couple of weeks. Put it this way. Oh, Butcher Brothers. Is that the one I sent you?
Butcher Block.
Butcher. It was one in Durban. Butcher
There's a
Boys, Butcher
the
Brothers.
butcher shop.
Yeah.
Oh,
Butcher
but
shop.
man, it was. So I had load shedding there for about 30 seconds.
Oh, a whole 30
okay.
seconds.
A whole 30 seconds.
Right? It was
Yeah.
horrible.
I
But what
went
about
on
over there?
right back on. So I think I experienced load shedding twice. Once, I don't know how long it took. I was in the car, so it didn't impact me. And then in Durban, I was at the restaurant. It was like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand. For example, it's funny. We were in the U.S. when we was in the U.S. for a travel show.
Yeah.
I forgot what city, DC. In DC, we were on a travel show when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so they were going to stop and then South Africa said they're going to stop all the flights coming in. So we got on, even though we wasn't due to get back to a few days, we jumped on the next flight, getting the hell out of it. Like, we cannot stay here. So I stayed on the phone for hours and finally,
Actually, it was 5 hours.
Yeah, and I got this black girl out of, I don't know where she was. All the other people were like, well, we must this and we must that. And I got this black girl. She said, what you trying to do? I said, look, I'm trying to get back to South Africa. She said, okay, I'm not going to fly you through Europe. I'm not going to fly you through here. I'm going to get you back to South Africa. We got back about 4 hours before they shut the gates.
Oof.
We made it back in South Africa.
Oh.
So we were like, we safe. So we popped in South Africa. But again, all the rhetoric and all the things that were happening in the U.S., South Africa was holding it down.
And we didn't have load shedding that entire time.
Yeah, but it was proper. They did everything like they're supposed to. We lost people, but to look at the U.S. and be sitting here in South Africa and we're actually doing lockdowns, we're actually doing all this stuff, and then we call our friends. They're like, "No, we're doing
I'm going to Home Depot.
Yeah,
I'm doing home renovations." I'm like, "You can
like,
go
what
outside."
Y'all doing? Yeah, y'all can go outside. Like what? But I guess my big point is that eventually they came up with this whole South African variant, and South Africa was just like, hey, we're just letting you guys know there's something out there, just watch out for it. And they tried to make it seem like it was just the most horrible thing.
Yes.
And it was upsetting to us because we're like, no, that's not what's happening at all over here. But the news and ABC, NBC, CNN, so all this stuff, even about load shedding, is so overblown.
Yeah.
Super overblown. But of course,
they got to make it worse.
They want to make it seem like because it's South Africa, there's 10, 12 hours a day with no power everywhere, the whole country. And I'm just like, and the only reason I know this is happening because there are those who email us and they say, hey, I heard it's 12 hours of load shedding every day all over the country. And I'm looking at them like, what are you talking about? But they believe that. You know, so that's why somebody has on this, I put it on the screen. Yeah. Somebody said there is so much propaganda and foolishness to sift through when it comes to what we hear and see about Africa.
True.
And it said that it takes resources like the real South Africa, that's what TRSA stands for, to show us what's real. So all we do is show what we see, and that's what we call the real South Africa. We just show you what we see. Anything beyond that, I'm not familiar with, but so when these 10, 12-hour days, I haven't ran into those yet. But when I do, I will let you know.
I didn't have any of those. Like I said, I had a whole 30 seconds. And in that 30 seconds, he poured me another glass of wine. So I wasn't suffering at all. So, no, but it's, that's why your videos are so impactful. I love to see, your vacations, but I love to see the hiking videos or, whatever you do. I mean, you driving the Fast and Furious cars. I mean, just, it really it allows people to open up, what they think they know about South Africa. And like the brother said, just Africa as a whole. I mean, people are working against a lot of years of propaganda, trying to, remove that blindfold almost. It's like mentally. I put it this way. I told people about South Africa. Hey, man, this is what I did. This is what I saw. They were like, nah, man, I don't know, but I heard this. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm telling you what I experienced firsthand. Your response is what you heard. I was like,
that sounds.
You can't beat that. You can't win against that. You
can't. We did that from 2011 all the way until we moved here, and then 2 years after we moved here, people were still telling us what they heard. I'm like, we've been coming here for 7+ years, and you still hit me with the what you heard, and I'm
Yeah.
telling you exactly what I'm experiencing, and they're like, that's not valid. You're like, okay, well, I'm done.
I gave up, and you guys fought the good fight. I gave up quick. I was like, y'all not stealing my joy. You know what? Because y'all are. And Mark said something. It was one of the earlier videos when you were talking about COVID. I think two brothers from Atlanta were there. And you said something about, it's almost like some people want you to just stop talking about it. So I was like, you know what? I have a few people, like my aunt is on. I have one of my other buddies. He said, okay, now you really convinced me, because it wasn't like, so it went from why did you go to South Africa to why did you go back to South Africa? And I think the fact that I went back, people were like, okay, all right, now you own to something. Why did you go back? And I tell them, this is what I do. I mean, and now when I committed to the real estate tour, I track the South African currency. I have an email that comes to me every day, shows me the conversion rate, dollar versus rand. I really want to learn everything. I'm looking at the types of places, like you said, apartment, home. They even have it where you can, buy a place and rent it back to the hotel, like that beautiful apartment I stayed in Durban. So it's like, okay, I don't have to pick up and move tomorrow. What if I buy a place and maybe it's an investment property? I don't know what that looks like. So I'm just tired of, online researching. Why don't I go to the real estate tour and I can actually ask real questions to real people, it just, that'll just eliminate a lot of the noise, because right now you can't debate with people. I mean, I try to share and people are like, nah, man, you romanticize it. I was like, maybe because I'm smiling when I think about it, but it's like, y'all not gonna steal my joy. I'm going back and I'm gonna have a great time. And, if it plans out, the real estate tour will help me really roadmap real action steps, so maybe it's not tomorrow, but maybe it's a year. Maybe it's 2 years. I was listening to your journey where you said it took you, I think, 5 years to make it. So it's like, really, I know I'm gonna come back. I had a great time. I said, well, you know what? Let's make it real. I really want to learn as much as I can. So like I said, I think I stayed away a whole 3-4 days before I was emailing Tasha again.
Well, I like how you keep saying, let's make it real. Let's make it real.
Make it real.
And so people will be always asking, why you name it the real South Africa? Because I want people to see exactly what you see.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. To me, it was a very simple thing. Because, for example, you took a few days since when you got back to ultimately want to come back. So if I said to you right now, if I would have said this to you before, you'd be like, yeah, he just want me to buy a package. I actually don't. I know if people want to come, they will come. Yeah. But if you want to come, I want you to come proper. And then you work with us, we will sort you out. But I will tell you this. If I told you right now, for all those years, 2011, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, we didn't do much because we were trying to get our life sorted out so we can give it here in 2018. If I was coming here 3 and 4 times a year, spending 2 weeks at a time, that doesn't sound unreasonable, do it?
Not now, but it did before. Before. Oh man. You got to read my brain. So people are already saying, man, why are you going back? That's expensive, man. It's expensive. Really? And I was like, okay, if you want to say expensive, I'll give you the plane ticket. Okay, let's for argument's sake. Okay, let's say the plane ticket is expensive. Although I plan ahead, I was like, but man, when you get there, I said, are you looking at this conversion rate? I mean, look, once you get there, it's golden. I mean, so people tell me all the time, man, the plane ticket is too high. Okay, put it this way: when I found my first trip, I booked the trip to Hawaii. And then I came back, and this little white South African lady just kept calling me. She was nice. She wasn't trying to sell me. She was just like, I'm just gonna give you all the information. The package to South Africa was cheaper than my 7-day cruise in Hawaii. Yes, now the plane ticket was more. Then I was like, wait a minute, that don't sound right. How can 10 days in Africa be cheaper than 7 days in Hawaii? And then I found your station or your YouTube channel. I was like, All right, let me just look at their prices. And once again, your prices are cheaper than some Caribbean packages. And I'm in Texas. I can get to the Caribbean pretty easy. Yeah. But I was like, it just, so I don't know if it's the plane ticket or what, but people tell me all the time, man, you just went. Why would you even think about? So I hadn't even, matter of fact, I've only told like 5 people. I'm not even telling people this time. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to
know now because you in this life.
I don't live my life seeking consensus. I don't do that. Yeah. I build my plan and I go for it. So yeah.
Yeah. So you remind me of when I was in my 40s. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. But no, because I don't live by committee. I just do. And because what I used to do, I would literally be online. I used to use kayak.com to find my. And I would go in there. Back then, this was 2011, 2012, early days. The highest, it was every day they had a flight, maybe 2 flights out of Dallas, which is in DC. And the flights would fluctuate as low as 600 and something round trip. 800, between 6 and 800.
Oh, good.
Bro, I wasn't sticking around. That $600 was like $8 to me.
Listen, if you haven't heard me say this before, I will tell you. This man was watching the flights to the point. The thing is, I was in the office every now and then, and he worked from home. He would be checking tickets in between doing work. I would get a phone call on a Monday.
I'm out
Taj,
Thursday.
I'm leaving Thursday.
I'll be back.
I need to to the airport. I'm like, what? He's like, if you can go, great. If you can't change your schedule, I'm out. I'm like, you just gonna leave me here like that?
That's wrong. That's wrong.
He was like, I love you, but a brother got to roll. I'm like, for real. Yeah. He would every time he found the ticket, he was like, the ticket's it's $690, it's $700. He literally would be like, if the ticket's cheap, I will figure out the rest. And that's what he would do.
Yeah.
I get my benefits through Delta, but maybe I need to start looking at kayak or something else.
Yeah. Man, I would do that. And then of course I was driving. So I would rent a car at the airport and I knew everywhere I was going. When like these places were very unfamiliar. And that's something that I want to add to the conversation. We want people to come here and get familiar and being comfortable with being here. It takes 2 days, 3 at the most, to shed all that stuff.
Yes.
Just to get it away from you. And then you start feeling comfortable. I mean, we get people that come here, they get too comfortable. They act like they in America.
I'm hey, you gotta leave, right?
Yeah. Hey, you're not a U.S. you're a U.S. citizen, not a South African citizen, because people get so comfortable.
You do.
You get real comfortable. I mean, I think people get more comfortable being here than they do in their hometowns.
They let all their hair down.
They be like, phew.
Like you say, you at the barbershop cutting it up. I'm like, dude, you at home? Yes.
Yes.
I feel at home. You eating good food. You're hanging out with your people, and it's easy to meet people here. Like you really don't feel like you meet any strangers.
No, and I love what you said though. And it was just conversation. It wasn't about what do you do. The only person asked me my age was a sister from Houston, from the States, but it just really, it just, and I've been to Cape Town before, but like you said, I was there. I walked around one time and I was like, yep, I remember where everything is. Obviously I hadn't had that opportunity in Joburg because I didn't get to see any of Joburg last time, but you do get comfortable and familiar. I mean, it's just, I was just sitting outside because they had the free shows out at the waterfront. Sometimes, so go back to what Tasha said earlier and Mark, you don't want a minute by minute itinerary. You want to just have some breathers, some free time. Because I'm telling you, you're gonna have some moments where you need to sit down and just like, man, I can't believe this is what they told me. What they told me Africa was and what the reality is. You're going to have one of those moments where it's just going to sit you down. It's like, I can't believe I listened to that mess.
Yeah.
It just,
No. I've actually been talking to people. Like they just got here. They've been here a few days. We stop by, check on them. Sometimes we don't get a chance to see everyone, unfortunately. I think we caught you.
Yeah.
But some people, man, I've been walking with people and they just like, hold on, let me stop.
You have to.
And they just like, and like, you okay? Like, you think something's like medically wrong. And they're like, no, I'm just
overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed. My head is just like, I just cannot believe this was happening to me and what I'm saying. And you know, now I recognize it, but at first it was like, you okay?
No.
And they like, no, I'm just going through something right now.
You are.
And they don't even know what it is. They just know they're going through something. They don't even know what it is.
That feeling. It's that fit. And Mark, you said something, I didn't believe it until I actually experienced it. You were like, once you start coming, your desire to go other places in between is gonna I have friends going to Hawaii, I have some friends going to Caribbean, and they were like, it's like, man, I love those places, but I would rather, if I'm gonna spend the money, I might as well, you know, go back to SA, man. I don't know, man. It's just see, that's why I struggle when you're trying to describe that feeling. It's just like you guys say, just visit. I mean, if it's on your heart, and like the brother says, if SA's on your heart, Ghana, wherever, you know, I recommend going wherever you want to go, whichever country you pick.
Yeah.
I say go. You know, I say go. And I forgot to mention, so if there's any solo travelers, group travelers, they check on you. Like Tawani was the person who checked on me every day. So Tasha, I text in the morning, hey, you know what? Hey, your driver's gonna be here. And it just as a hint, if they say your driver's gonna be there, the driver's gonna be there 5 to 10 minutes early. So I mean, they're calling the hotel room. Hey, your driver's here. I was like, wait, I still got some time. But no, the drivers are always on time. And I felt bad because like Seba, I was having an amazing time. I didn't want to leave Seba. I could have stayed there. And so I went out, and the driver was like, yeah, I've been here. I didn't want to be late. So I just been sitting outside for 30 minutes. You know, I was like, man, the drivers are always on time. You don't have to worry about it at all. And Mark, I'm not ready to drive in South Africa. Number one, it's on the side. But number two, I'm so distracted. Like when you're driving through Chapman's Peak and you're just driving around, it's like, I don't want to drive. I mean, I'm looking at everything. Yeah. South Africa is a beautiful country. Just talk about the people are beautiful. Just the countryside is beautiful. I mean, and I love the drive from the city to the bush lodge, because you see the city, then you get to see the residential areas, then you start getting out into the rural areas. You may see some mines, you may see some forests, then you get out into the nature. So you get to see the transition of the population as well. It's like, man, this is absolutely beautiful, man. So I'm just taking it. I would be too distracted of a driver right now. So let me just sit in the car, you know, and just relax. So I love it.
So you're still high from being here.
I had a dip, and then when I booked the trip, I confirmed the trip, it peaked me back up.
Okay. So you got something to look forward to.
Yeah, I watched Chris's live last week, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling it again. So
excellent.
You talk yourself out of it. I was like, nah, I'll just wait till next year. Like, you know what? No, I'm not doing that. I want to go. You know, I have the resources. I have the time to prep. I emailed Tasha, got the answers I needed. I was like, you know what?
I don't remember what I said, but I was kind of like, I think I gave you a little bit of the pros and cons of like each one. Like, if you want to do this, like we can make either one of it work. But ultimately, the decision was yours, and I think it boiled down to coming back sooner than later and getting the education so that you can actually start making plans because you need to make plans. You have to plan the process of moving. You can't. It's not a flash to bang situation. Yeah. So
it was one sister. I don't know if she's on. She reached out to me on LinkedIn. She was like, "Hey, I saw a post they did about you, and it was on your Instagram." And she was like, "Can you give me an update on the company?" And I was like, "Hey, yes, gladly." And so she was like, "Wow, I think I'm gonna reach out to them." And I said, "Hey, by the way, do you know about their YouTube channel?" She was like, "No, I just follow them on Instagram." I said, "Well, the YouTube is amazing." So I said, "Check out their YouTube channel." So it's just crazy. And people are reaching out. So
thank you for that, for sharing our information. We really, really appreciate it.
No, I've been telling everybody, all those who want to hear.
Yeah.
There's some people still don't want to hear, about Africa or anything.
We will receive.
Yeah, some people don't want to be woke up, so let them sleep. They'll be fine. I love them all. But those that wake up and they're like, because, as we both know, which I'm going to kind of turn the topic a little bit, there's a big movement of African American. Let me back it up a little bit even further. when we did our thing, it wasn't a thing. When we was talking about coming to South Africa, it was totally not a thing. Or coming to Africa, people wasn't talking about coming to Africa. I've had people, some of everybody trying to talk me out of it, but I was like, man, y'all don't even know, right? Which is fine. They can continue to do what they do. They're on I-95 right now, stuck in traffic. I'm not there. I'm just saying, but I was there. Yeah. But it wasn't a thing. And then ultimately, there's a lot of people that are looking to try to find their way in Africa. And there's a lot of YouTube channels. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of that going on. Yes. What do you suggest people should do if they're seriously looking at trying to come to Africa?
If you're serious about it, I would pick the country of interest, and hopefully they have a trusted resource like you guys, that can really help with that. I know some people are adventurous. They just want to rent an Airbnb and do it themselves. Hey, if that's your thing. But I really wanted to, number one, book with somebody I trust. And really, based on all of your hundreds of videos I've watched, I knew that I would get the type of experience I wanted. I wanted history. I wanted culture, as you say, culture, couture, lifestyle. I didn't want the poverty tour. I heard, I wanted to experience it because, like I said, I already went before traveling with you guys. I had a great vacation. I have no bad things to say about that company. But what you guys made me look beyond vacation. I was like, wait a minute, they actually live there, Joshua, doctorate in PT, Mark, Secret Service, so just like, obviously you guys are doing well in the States. Why would they want to live there? So that was the most intriguing part. And the way you guys set up the tour, I got everything that I wanted. I got history tours. I got to, eat at some of the best restaurants. All of my hotels were absolutely beautiful. But the people that you guys, like I said, I keep going back to the drivers, the people in the hospitality space, whether it was at the hotels or wherever. I mean, it's like everybody I interacted with was an ambassador for South Africa. It's like they were not trying to sell me. They were just speaking so proudly of their country. I was like, man, this is the way you guys set it up. So if you really want to come to Africa, I would say, you can look at YouTube all day long, and I hope you're doing your research, but until you actually go, I just don't know if you'll ever get that full experience.
I thank you for that. What's so beautiful about what we do is because the company still has time to grow. Yes. So as Sibo says, obviously we do Joburg, Cape Town, Durban, and Mpumalanga and Limpopo. Yes, there are other provinces, but what we're not going to do is still something that we haven't experienced. So understand that we still have travels. There's still things that we're going to do. We've been to the Eastern Cape. We don't sell Eastern Cape just yet. But as we get more involved in the country, because our very favorite thing to do is to travel this country. So as we get more, information, as we get more well-versed, we understand that we learn something new every day. We're experts in the things that we share, but as we become more involved in, the other provinces, we will absolutely have packages for those provinces as well. So just hold your horses, Sibo. We understand. We understand.
Yeah.
No, I just, you guys have a good team. Like I said, working with Tawani and the connections, like she was able to get us treated, and that French hook. We were French. Yeah, we didn't go to Sterling with the French. Yeah, French hook. Yeah. She took care of us. Like she could make a phone call, and we were, the chef was there. It was just like, wow. If it's just like one day in Cape Town, it was raining. So it's like, okay, we're not going to do Table Mountain today. Let's do something else. Let's do it. Just simple as that. Life is, things happen, but it never stopped anything. All of my reservations were taken care of. I didn't have to worry about that. It didn't matter to me if it was raining. The driver pulled up. I walked out of the hotel. I get in the car. I didn't miss a beat,
But I will say this to you, and all those people along the way that you saw and did not see. For example, you left your room, you came back, it was clean.
Yes.
You asked for a drink pops up. Between all the interactions that you've had, and I'm sure it was thousands of interactions, and some of you do not remember, that created a job for someone. that look like us.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That was a job. You drop a tip, that was you're actually putting into all those, when we book these locations and make sure everything is in order. Because on my side personally, I got to make sure everything is 100%. If they slip down to 90%, they off the list. Just don't call me. Don't ask me anything, because you had your chance. You blew it. There's somebody else ready to rock and roll. Yeah. And they have great employees, and I look at it and I want them to be able to have a job. Yeah. And the more of us that pop up over here, and the more people that come, like Chris that came before you came, I think, or was it about the same?
He came before me.
Came before you? Okay.
He had Gavin before I had Gavin. Remember?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because we got people here now. Believe it or not, there's people creeping around South Africa right now. So, and there's people that came after you as well. And but I just want to make sure that we come here. We show a lot of respect for the country. We show a lot of grace. There's been times, and you might not believe it, that I had to talk to our people coming from the U.S. and say, "Hold on, slow it down, Chief. Yeah. Slow it down. Let's we're representing more than ourselves here. That's we're right. Representing the person that's come, like Chris represented well before you showed up. So then things work great for you. So everybody, we need to understand that as we're coming over here, and then at some point we're interacting with our counterparts. Just as long as that stays proper, we can do what we do. We can ask for what we ask for. We get what we get because we bring good people that come and show respect, and they interact with the. I mean, you mentioned the drivers, the hotel staff. Yeah. You see, all that matters. That matters ridiculously too much. And then some people don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it because it matters to me, and I want the next person that come behind you, in the next group, and the next, and people on the real estate tour that's going to come with you. I really do want them to understand that it's definitely important that we act proper, because they're going to act proper to us.
Yes. Absolutely. And I listened to your videos, and I remember Tasha sharing about the importance of greeting. So whenever I walked up to someone, I would say, "Good morning," or I would attempt to say, "Sawubona." Yeah. Sometimes I'll get a laugh at them. Like one sister laughed at me. I said, "You cracking on me?" And she just laughed. So, I mean, the same way we tease each other, it's the same thing, But I pay attention to the feedback from your guests. Like, I greeted people, and they were so helpful. When I say I got turned around a few times, they would say, "Oh no, brother, let me show you." I mean, it wasn't just like point and go. It was they took care of me, And a lot of them said, "Until you open your mouth, I thought you were a local." I was like, yeah. And you got American, come out pretty easily, but
you can't hide that.
Yeah, they just took care of me. So
yeah, because and the last thing I will say before I give you the last word is like, because we live here, we're here, we feel very comfortable. I know we are immigrants, but we feel the same way the South Africans pretty much feel about everything. So when people say things negative about South Africa that's not proper, I mean, we get upset.
Yeah.
We do. We like, this doesn't make any sense. Even though we're Americans and people want us to choose this, choose that, I'm choosing, where I interact with every single day. Yes. And so when our people come, I'm like, hey, people do come and they do a great job. And the people that we bring, I mean, they made me feel really good, because these people have a high, view of Americans. And then we come here and we meet that expectation as well, like you did. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I'm telling you, it
goes a long way.
Yeah. And then you would leave and we would go to one of the locations you might have went to in Cape Town, and we'll pop in. Oh, they're going to real South Africa. Oh, yeah. Then they start naming people by name. Yeah. So-and-so was here. So-and-so was here.
They were great. They were awesome.
They were this.
Really like them. They should come back.
Yeah.
You guys have the best guests. You have the best clients.
Yeah.
So we pride ourselves on people that come here. I won't use the word behave, but understand they're getting a proper experience, appreciative and grateful, because it does make it easy for the person coming behind you. They know that when you are coming with the real South Africa, that you're going to be a person that is appreciative, and they're going to do extra for you. They really, really do. for you. They're gonna do
That
that.
is the truth. They treated me well. So shout out to Mr. Isaac, Da Vinci, Sharon at the Commodore. They took care of me. Shout out. When I tell you your name, this is not boasting or bragging. Your name carries weight because it really does. And when I tell you they took care of me, sometimes I forgot I was on vacation. I thought I was at home.
There you go.
I got way comfortable. And when my friends were asking me, man, which one do you like the best? I was like, I don't know enough to pick one yet. But I love the process of researching, which I'm doing. I mean, Johannesburg just felt like home to people. It really, I was really comfortable. Cape Town, honestly, I've said this before. Now, I'm not as well traveled as some people on this call, but it's, as of right now, it's the most beautiful city I've ever seen in my life.
No, it is.
I mean, I can't find a more beautiful place that I've been to yet. It just, in Durban, obviously I love the weather in Durban, but I'm a tropical. It just, that apartment Tasha set me up with, I was like, man, this apartment is nice, man. It was just beautiful. So I don't have a favorite yet,
I think I'm gonna go back to one thing you mentioned, saying that our name carries weight. It does carry weight, but I'm gonna tell you how funny it is. When people that may not use our services come here and say that they're with us, people will call us to verify that. So trust me, they know when you're with us and when you're not with us.
They know as well.
No, they will verify. They'll be like, is this person yours? I'm like, no, they're not mine. They're like, oh, okay, well, they mentioned your name. I'm like, yeah, they're not ours. They said, we figured, but we just wanted to double check. So we're grateful that we've done the work, we've made the connections that we can extend to people like yourself. So thank you for recognizing that. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, like I said, I think last time, I trust you a little bit by now. I think I'll come hang out with you again. So.
Yeah, please come hang out with us. Are there any last words that you want to impart on the people before we get off here?
Oh, absolutely. And I've said it before. If you're a solo traveler, if you're with a family, it doesn't matter. There's no need to fear. Like I said, it was absolutely seamless. I booked my flights. Once I landed, I got my bags. There was a driver waiting on me with a sign, picked me up from the airport, took me to the hotel. Once I checked in, and from then, that moment on, the driver was there. The reservations were squared away. My accommodations were squared away. My tours, my excursions were squared away. Because I had some free time, I was able to do some extra stuff with my days of leisure, but everything was taken care of. Everything. So if there's any fear, I don't know. I tell people the hardest thing to do is just to book the flight. I'm not a big fan of long flights, but I was able to, upgrade the seat this time, and it made a world of difference. But now I'm so excited about South Africa. The flight doesn't even bother me anymore.
It
doesn't even bother me anymore, and I'm not a fan of long flight, but it just doesn't bother me at all anymore. So.
Brother, I don't fly that flight so many damn times.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the one out of DC, I'm in the air by 10 p. I worked all day. I'm tired. I get on the plane. They mess around and give me too much liquor real quick.
Knocked out.
And I suck that down. And I go to sleep. I wake up. We would land in Accra, and then we would land for like 1 hour. 1 hour later, we're back in the air.
Gone.
And then there's more seats. So then I stretch out.
Yeah.
And then I land in Joburg. And I was like, man, I'm back home. I'm back at home.
The long flight doesn't even bother me anymore, because I go from Dallas to Atlanta, then Atlanta to Johannesburg. Now it's just like, it's just, I'll take a couple of naps. I'll watch a couple of movies. I'll walk around the plane. And next thing you know, and that airport landing doesn't get old. I've only done it twice, but it felt just as good as the first time when you land.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I guess I'll see you guys in November. I can't believe I'm saying that since I just came back. So
you did just come back. Thank you so very much for sharing your experience again with us, and just letting the people know that there is a proper way to experience South Africa, and just having a heartfelt expression. Like I said, there's words we can't really come up with right now. But thank you from the bottom of our hearts here in South Africa for allowing us to do that for you. And we do look forward to seeing you again in November.
It is confirmed. It's confirmed. I will be back in November. So I am
You
ready.
made the commitment today. Thank you.
Stop it. All right, brother.
All right.
Have a good day.
All right. Thank y'all.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. We really appreciate him sharing his story. Somebody had a question for us. I wanted to answer it. Somebody said, question to the Blantons, why did you choose Joburg rather than Cape Town? I'm going to tell you this. I don't think we chose Joburg over Cape Town because I could get to Cape Town anytime I feel like it.
Yes.
There's several airports in Johannesburg that will take me there. So, and we go. We just don't tell everybody that we're there. But we go based on what's going on, or we just want to take a quick getaway, or somebody in the tourism space calls and say, hey, can you guys come look at this location?
Yeah.
We would love to host some of your guests, so we may go then. But Joburg, to be perfectly honest with you, I love Joburg. I think if for an everyday scenario, you can't beat Joburg for various reasons. If you want to do business, everybody flies here. There's a lot of conferences here. A lot of people you need to meet are here in Joburg. It's the economic hub. It's still very 5-star in a lot of ways. A lot of histories here. I mean, we just picked Joburg, but
yeah,
I think Cape Town.
We were younger too.
Yeah, we was a little bit younger too. Now I'm really more Joburg, to be honest with you. But you got to put Durban on the list as well. I really like Durban. We always act like there's only 3 cities in South Africa, but there's many more cities in South Africa that can easily contain us. But we just love the fact that I can get on a plane in Joburg and fly to what's that place called? I can fly to Durban, be there in an hour, and then Durban has a completely different vibe. It's tropical, and you can get to some things. Then of course you can go to Cape, and then from Joburg. From Johannesburg, you can fly 2 more hours
and be in Cape Town.
And you could be in Cape Town. I'm like, this is pretty easy.
I think that Joburg is the jump off.
That's
the place. I know it's the smallest province, but you can really get anywhere. You can get to Port Elizabeth, you can get to Cape Town, you can get to Durban. 1-2 hour flight, you're exactly where you want to be. So, if you want to change your weather when it's cold here, fly to Durban. If you want to get you some Atlantic Ocean, fly to Cape Town.
Yeah,
if you want to get you another coastline, fly to the Eastern Cape. The coastline is absolutely gorgeous on either side. So the fact that you can hop on a flight and get somewhere in 1 or 2 hours is exactly the reason why we chose Joburg. For me. That's why.
We're roughly about the same.
Yeah.
I mean, you really don't exclude anything.
Yeah.
Because we got friends that actually live in Durban and work in Joburg during the week, but then there are people who are that work in New York and drive all the way to Philly every day.
Yeah. Or Jersey or whatever.
So this is nothing. This is nothing new. It's just that we're going to be in Durban in August because it's right over there.
Yeah,
it's a 6-hour drive.
Yeah, which is really not that bad.
Yeah, through the Drakensbergs, by the way.
I love that drive actually.
Yeah.
It's just it never gets old. It's so beautiful, so beautiful.
Yep. So
thank you, Lazarus. I hear you. Thank you for the interview. We can't wait for you to return as well. I appreciate you.
All right, guys. Hope you guys have a good day. I know in South Africa it's getting kind of late. It's
almost 10 o'clock.
It's almost 10 o'clock, and y'all know.
My bedtime.
Yeah, I'm getting there. And then the States is roughly about 4. I think it's the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
So happy Independence Day over there.
Over there.
Whatever y'all doing over there, continue to do it.
Continue to barbecue.
Yeah. And we'll be grinding over here. We'll just do a couple grinds and whatnot. Yeah, we probably will. All right. Good night.
Good night, guys.